Hello. My name is Edward Hunt. This is my friend
Mike Cuttingham.
And welcome to the first ever episode of Ramblings from Two Meddling Kids, the podcast.
It's flawless.
Yeah,
How you said it.
Thank you. So basically, a little bit of background is Mike and I love watching movies. Many times we try to go to Thursday premieres or we just watch movies together. And then afterwards, we always want to sit down and talk about it. Well, why not make that a podcast then? That's what I thought.
I agree.
Thank you. But yeah, so 100%. So what we're going to be doing now is we're going to watch a movie. Mike and I, you're more than welcome to watch it yourselves. We're going to give you a spoiler-free review. We're going to give a brief plot summary, a breakdown, stuff we thought was funny, stuff we appreciate of it, and give you a little outro from there. So today, with Halloween being today, we decided, everyone's doing Halloween Ends. No one really, honestly, from what I've heard, it's not that great. But I haven't seen it yet myself. But why not go back a little bit? Back to a little time in 1978 with the original John Carpenter Halloween and give that a go. Before we get started with it, Mike, I got to ask, have you ever seen this movie before?
Once. I'm not a huge horror fan. I'll just let the fans know right now. I'm not a huge horror fan, so I'm spotty with a lot of the entries in the horror genre, but I have seen this one time.
Fun fact, I thought I had seen it. I never have. I'm with horror. I was more of a giant chicken when I was a kid. I enjoyed horror comics, horror books, and I'm getting more into the genre, and I've been watching it. I had assumed I've seen Halloween, but never actually seen it.
This is like you know the lore, like at some point, like no matter where you are, like you might not have seen like Friday the 13th, but not to go to Camp Crystal Lake.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
Or any lake.
Yeah. I mean, you can go to a couple, just not if you're dark or at a camp. Thank God my parents did not send me to summer camp. But let's get into our first segment, which is a spoiler-free review. If you have never seen this movie, like myself, and you're wondering, hey, maybe should I see this? We're just trying to give you a quick breakdown, what we thought of it. Is it worth seeing? So first off, Mike, would you like to start?
No. You got it.
All right, sounds good.
You're doing a great job.
So for me, with our spoiler-free review, I'm going to give this a solid 4 out of 5. It is entertaining. It is campy. You have to be okay with low budget. You have to be okay with it not being up to the standards that you might have for cinema nowadays. But, I mean, dude, it's Halloween. It's iconic. We would not have the same style of slasher or horror movies we have today without it. And yeah, man, it was, even with it being in 1978, I think it stood up pretty well. There may be a couple things of pacing where I'm like, okay, like I get it. I'm a little bored, maybe, but honestly, no. It was a solid movie, 4 out of 5. That's my take. Mike?
I would give it a 4.5 out of 5.
Wow.
Just a bit better, just because of the fact that, like you said, it did set the tone for what we know as a slasher film.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the tropes that we see now in horror films kind of got started. I can't say that, but it was just like,
yeah,
you see a lot of them here, and it was like, I assumed it might have been for the first time. Like there were just ways with the music, with some of the shots, like you said, some of them a little long, but it was just like some of the scenes with the antagonist like just staring or like. Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, now it's a trope where it's just like you're staring, you look away, and then they're not there.
Yeah. Man moves fast.
Yeah.
Man moves fast.
But even, I feel like there was one scene where she looked, he was there, she looked, he was there, and then she looked, he wasn't. I was like, you slick.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. You might see me twice, 3 times. No, absolutely not. But twice you might see me.
But yeah, so definitely, I think they utilized, with the low budget, they utilized the shots, the music, and then just the overall presence of the shape, as they called them. To create great horror. So yeah, 4.5 out of 5.
Definitely. Either way, I think from both of us, if you haven't seen it, I'd see it. Even now, like I would 100%, if you have a way to see it, check it out. You need plans this Halloween, check it out. Why not? Before we get into our plot summary, we'll have our first quick ad break. Hey, Mike.
Yes.
Do you sell a product?
I do not.
Oh, do you know other people that sell products?
A few, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. People like to sell products. Hey, if you would like to sell a product and you think it would be a good fit for our show, feel free to email us at ask.2, the number 2, meddlingkidspod@gmail.com. Again, that is ask.2, meddlingkidspod.com. This is our first episode. We have no ads at the moment, but we'd like them. But so again, 100%. If you like what you're listening to, you like what you're hearing, you would want to hear our silky smooth voices try and sell your product, I'm down for it. And our second is I'm a real estate agent as well. Outside of this, I pursue many projects. My team is the Just Be team. It is all about finding where you're meant to be. If you were looking for a home in DC, Maryland, or Virginia, please hit us up at ask.2meddlingkidspod@gmail.com, or you can hit me up personally, and I'll give you my after the show. All right, Mike, you ready? You ready?
Yes.
All right. Mike, start us off. What's the summary of this thing?
All right, so a quick plot summary of Halloween. In 1963, a young Michael Myers, I believe he was 6 years old, murders his older sister and is sent away to an insane asylum. And then 15 years, this is all on Halloween. And 15 years later, in 1978, he escapes and returns to his hometown to wreak havoc on unsuspecting babysitters in the town. So that is where we begin our story.
Excellent. I will say I've seen a few of the other Halloweens. I've seen H2O. I've heard of this thing called
Rusta. Was that Busta Rhymes?
It was something. But there's the Curse of the Thorn, a whole bunch of other things. But it is important to note that in this Halloween, Laurie Strode is not known as Mike Myers' sister. She is just an innocent babysitter who was, I guess, walking down the street when Mike Myers drove by. And he's decided, hey, she looks like she'd be fun to murder. I mean, hey, man, that's Mike Myers.
I assume that is the thought process. Yeah. Fine.
But now we're going to go into a little bit of a deeper dive. So, as Mike said, this year is what? 1963. And Michael Myers is now a 6-year-old child, and apparently he enjoys staring at his sister and her boyfriend while they should be babysitting him instead of sucking faces. It opens up great. Actually, even before that, you have basically, you can't fully see it, but that little jack-o'-lantern, and you just have John Carpenter's score just going at it, just hitting you hard, and you're like, okay, I know I'm in for something. Opens up, and then it just has like a point-of-view camera of this little guy staring in a window. You don't fully know what's going on. You just see two teenagers and then a camera going back and forth staring in. From here, the two teenagers decide to go upstairs. And I can say stuff was different in the 60s. That man was a smooth 1 minute. Walked upstairs. He comes back.
The assailant in this, like the POV, didn't even get a chance to get the knife, and he was already out of it.
Like, yeah, exactly. It was like, what?
He said, "Woo, record time, baby."
And she's all like, "Call me." And he's like, "Yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah, we'll see." All right? So it's just impressive.
What I will say is about speaking on the, I guess, technical part of it, like this opening POV shot was just amazing because it was just like it is like first of all, you are seeing from the killer's point of view. So like the reveal of who it is was shocking. I assume back in 1978, but still, like if you had never seen it, it was holy shit. Because even like when he approaches, so like as he was saying, so he's watching from outside. The two teenagers go upstairs. He sneaks into the house, grabs a knife, and then as he's in the living room, as Casanova is
the man, the legend,
is leaving after the one pump chump, if you will, is leaving. So he makes his way up the stairs, and you see a young lady at her like I guess her dresser, brushing her hair, and she turns and sees the assailant, you in POV, and she says, "Michael, what are you doing?" So it's like it's known that she knows this person,
absolutely,
and then he gets to stab him.
Yep. Just stab.
Actually, well, first he does put on a mask. He did. Yep. So Casanova, the boyfriend, had a clown mask that he was wearing, and he left it when he finished his business. And so Michael puts on this. POV puts on the mask. She recognizes who it is, and he stabs her. And then he just goes outside, and like you hear the parents pull up.
Yeah.
And they're saying like Michael, so we know who this person is. And then you see, like, I think they take the mask off, and you see it's a 6-year-old boy with a knife of blood on it.
Yeah.
And then the camera just pans out to the scene, You got the two parents. The mother was looking like, "What are you little?"
Yeah, I know, right? That was one thing. I'm like, dude.
She was like, what are you doing out of it?
Like, you rapscallion. Like, dude, like, you have a 6-year-old child with a bloody knife, and he's just holding it deadpan staring at the camera. And then she's just like, Michael, what kind of rambunctious things you get into this time? I'm like, yo. Like, you see a 6-year-old with a knife.
Other questions that need to be asked.
There's a lot of things we got to check in with. I will say, nitpicking, and 100%, this is 1978. They did a phenomenal job, I think, with the tech they had. That was my one kind of complaint I had, was the camera
wasn't low enough for a 6-year-old.
It was not low enough for a 6-year-old. Like,
he was a grown man.
Exactly. Like, that is clearly a grown, because he is like towering above the banisters and the light switches. The camera is, but then you're like, wait a second, this guy is like this tall. Camera's up here. That's my only nitpick. But again, just great opening scene.
I assume it was hard to crouch up the stairs.
I mean, if there's a will, there's a way. So. But yeah, no, great opening scene. I can only imagine back in the 70s, with potentially things weren't really like that. I don't know. I know there was Texas Chainsaw Massacre in '74, great movie, and as well. So they definitely had things like this. Either way, slasher just going to work, pretty awesome. Yeah. From there, Sisters murked, as Mike said, and we're going to continue. Enter Dr. Sam Loomis. 15 years later, he is driving with a Nurse Pratchett type. I mean, she's trying to be nice.
Ratchet. So.
Oh, you're right. My bad. You're right. I don't know movies.
Just to say, so it's 15 years later, 1978, October 30th.
Yes, October 30th. Yes, it is before Halloween. Yes, Michael's been planning. I just want to say, it opens up with Sam Loomis, and he does a great job of being like, this is evil. Yeah. We can't let it out into the world. And the nurse is just like, wow, way to be compassionate, doctor.
Smoking a smooth cigarette in the car.
Yeah, like, come on. But literally, 30 seconds before she says that, she's like, I hate all the crazy types, all their mutterings and ramblings. I'm like, you just went a complete 180. Like, you were just like, oh, weird people. I don't like it. Mm-hmm. How could you say, leave this man in prison, you heartless son of a gun? But yeah.
Now, was he in the car? No.
What's up?
Was Michael in the car?
Michael's not in the car yet.
He was, okay. Because that's what confused me as to as you're saying. So they're driving to go pick up Michael because he needs to be transported for a court date.
Yeah.
And Loomis is very much against this. He's like, I know that man's pure evil. We shouldn't be moving him. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But it's court order is nothing. It's out of his hands. So they go to the hospital to pick him up. And the nurse... smoking a smooth cigarette.
Yep.
It was the 70s.
Yeah, mid-70s. Yeah, man.
She notices that there are a bunch of patients outside, roaming outside. Yeah. And she was like, do they let them do this?
Yeah.
And so Dr. Loomis gets out of the car and says, stay in the car. And he goes to the gate, which is slightly open. And as soon as he's out of the car, one of the patients climbs on top of the car, smashes a window.
Yeah. That's Michael. Michael's doing that. Yeah.
So that's why I was confused, because I was like, was he in the back? I thought they were already transporting him.
No, they weren't transporting him yet. So as Michael's saying, they drive up. There's all these people just out in the yard. It's storming. It's raining. And I just kind of was like, why are these people just out right now? Mike probably murdered a bunch of them. Just throwing that out there. Is off screen. But because that's the only way I have these people getting out. Mm-hmm. But so Dr. Sam Loomis decides to step out, and he's trying to get a hold of the facility. And that's when we see, we don't know who it is at the time, but this man climb up the back of that car, go in, grab the nurse, and kind of smack her around a little bit. There's some windows that break.
Yeah.
She gets out.
He breaks a whole window with his hand.
Yeah, with open palm, just all right, there you go.
Well, that goes back to the lore of what is Mike Myers? Is he supernatural, or is he just a strong dude?
I think it depends on the movie you watch. There's 13 of them, and it kind of depends either or. One day he's an old man, one day he's evil incarnate.
But anyway, so he attacks the nurse. She escapes the car, and he drives off.
Yes. Which, for the record, how in the world does this man know how to drive?
I mean, there was so many things.
He's been in this place since he was 6, and he just gets I know how to drive. Don't worry about it. Yep, I don't know how to drive stick.
I don't want to jump forward. But when Loomis the next morning, he was like, well, how did he learn how to drive unless somebody here was teaching him? And then it was just kind of a yada yada, and he drove off. And I said, well, did he?
Yeah, well, did he? People need to know. That was a great call, because it gets addressed, which I appreciate. And actually, I have a note, but I appreciated that, because literally he's like, well, someone must have taught him or something. And you're just like, yeah, because there's no way this dude who
started at 6. Yeah, he's now 21, even though the credits say he's 23.
That's not how math works.
I did it. I wrote it down. I did it on my fingers.
I
Dialed a friend. Like
had a calculator. It was nuts. But carry the 7.
But anyway, so he attacks the nurse,
Mm-hmm.
steals the car, and he drives off.
Yep.
And then we get another, like, Loomis checks on her, but he's like super upset
Mm.
that because he knows that it's Michael, even though that's why I was confused because
Yeah.
it was like, how does he know that it's Michael that escaped? There's a whole bunch of patients out.
There's only one man capable of breaking a car like this with his bare hand,
Yeah.
throwing a nurse out, and driving away, even though he's never learned how to drive. Michael Myers.
Michael, ludicrous. But yeah, so he drives off, and we cut to another black screen, and now we are in. It shows you in Haddonfield, Michael's hometown, on Halloween. So now is it officially? Because when we started with Loomis, it was Halloween night.
Mm-hmm.
So now it is officially Halloween, and we meet Laurie Strode.
Laurie Strode, absolutely. Laurie Strode, whose father's a real estate agent, is told to go check. I mean, it's true. It's in the movie.
I didn't say it.
I heard
If you
this.
feel guilty, it's all your side.
But she is told to go put a key under a mat that they're trying to sell, which is the old Myers house where the murder took place. No one has ever lived there.
Since 1963.
Since 1963, but she is putting a key under the mat, which, for the record, real estate agents don't do. That's very bad.
Well, not anymore. I mean, it's film.
It's true. Literally, in 1978, they're like, wait a second.
That's where the whole fake rock started.
People can murder if we just leave keys under mats? Oh, no.
Well, that's why they stopped putting them on top of the sun visor in cars.
That's true.
Because every film was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, wow, that is so true. Did people actually do that back then?
I don't know. It was a lawless time.
It was, man. It was, jeez. Anyway, so she drops the key under the mat, and then we have a great POV shot of staring out the back, which is clearly Michael Myers.
So with that, it was like, that's when I realized, because it was always a question, why Laurie? And like you said, in sequels that don't have anything to do with the canon anymore, but like it was understood that that's his sister. That's why he came back for her.
Yeah, later.
But it's literally because of the fact that he was at the house.
Yep.
And she stopped by.
Yeah.
And also, I think she was with Tommy as well.
Yeah, Tommy. Yep. Tommy Doyle.
Tommy Doyle.
I think Doyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she's just walking. She dropped off the key before she went to school. Yep. And that's how she became the target.
Yeah, 100% just because Michael.
And I was okay. I was because it was like for the longest time. Like I said, I felt like I saw this movie, but couldn't really register it. That's why she became a target, not for anything else. It could have been. It could have been her dad, actually.
Yep, 100%. It totally could. Actually, well, honestly, if it was her dad, he probably just would have killed him right there.
Yeah,
but yeah, solely because she was the one to do it. Michael was the first person she saw. It was like
other way around.
Michael was. Oh yeah, my bad. Yep, you're right. Laurie was the first person that Michael saw.
And then, so you see him in the house looking out the window, and then as she's walking down the street, and this is the interesting thing with the shots is he steps outside, stands out like on the sidewalk in front of the house. Yeah, and you just see the camera over his shoulder, and he's watching her walk to school. Yeah, absolutely. And this starts his like stalking of her throughout the day. So like you see her in class, and that was the scene I was telling you earlier where he's like. He drove. So he didn't even walk. He was like, "Oh no, this bitch lived far." Like,
someone taught him.
So he takes the car, parks it outside of her classroom, and stares at her. Yeah. For a while, she recognizes it, looks away, recognizes it, looks away, and then the third time he's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
So in that quick glance, he started up a car. First of all, he had to go around, start up the car, and it was like, and we gotta get out.
Amen. Power of evil. All right, the power of evil. Through evil, all things possible.
It was also interesting. I noted down. Her teacher was talking about fate.
Oh yeah,
the lesson was about fate and like kind of whether it's natural or like like just a random occurrence.
Okay. Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. Just
that is a really good touch. Absolutely, because it was kind of like now because and that goes with what we were just saying is she was just unlucky enough to drop that key off. So I guess the random occurrence of fate now means she's a target. As Mike was saying too, Loomis is still exploring around. Loomis has now made it to Haddonfield himself, if I remember correctly, and he is exploring the cemetery. He's trying to find Michael's sister's tombstone. When he's talking to the grave caretaker is telling this fascinating story because he was like, stuff like this happens in towns all the time because they're talking about Michael killing his family. So the gravekeeper is like, over in the other town, Charlie Boyles took a hacksaw and walked into his family. And He kissed his family on the head. He walked out to the garage, grabbed a hacksaw, and then walked back in. And Loomis is like, "We don't have time for these stories, sir." And I was like,
"Oh, speak for yourself,
right?" I'm like, "Oh my God, tell me what happened. What did Charlie fucking Bowles do? I need to know." We never know. Sorry, you never know. There needs to be another movie made. Someone needs to ask John Carpenter, "Please, sir, what did Charlie Bowles do to his family?" Or not. Maybe he kissed him on the head and went out for a different murdering spree. Maybe the family made it out all right. I want to know. But going forward now, they find that the tombstone of Michael Myers.
I didn't realize that's what that was. It was just because it was just like a hole in the ground, obviously, where the tombstone. Yeah. And I was just like, did they bury her in a tiny, tiny box?
I just folded her up a little bit. It's like origami. Yeah.
All the not room in his graveyard?
Yeah. So there's just this big gaping hole where the tombstone should be. And then Loomis is like, "Dear God,
he's returned." Yeah. So, and that's the thing. It was just like, he has no proof because even when he went the next morning, he went to the hospital, Dr. Loomis. And the guy there is like, Haddonfield's like 150 miles away. How's he going to get there? So now Loomis is following a trail for the boogeyman, but he doesn't have actual proof. But him going to the graveyard is like, well, who else but somebody from the Myers family would, remove this tombstone? So like he's following a trail of breadcrumbs that Michael really isn't leaving, but he is.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that Mike brought up the boogeyman. That's a good touch for the children of Halloween. That's the whole thing. Is it's not Michael Myers, it's the boogeyman who's doing all of this. As kids are, they're dicks. So you have Tommy Doyle in the elementary school who's minding his own business with a pumpkin, trying to run around. And these four other boys trip him, break the pumpkin. They're like, "Boogeyman's going to get you. Boogeyman's going to get you." And Tommy's like, "I've never even heard of the boogeyman. What is this boogeyman you're telling me about?" While, of course, upset that his pumpkin broke. Kids are not very nice people. But going back a little forward now, Loomis is still searching around. Loomis meets so Lori is there. She has two friends, Linda and Annie. Annie Brackett. Annie Brackett's father is the sheriff of Haddonfield. So Loomis now meets the Sheriff Brackett.
Quick before it's just like Michael stalks Tommy for a bit. You see him stalking him outside of the school because he saw Tommy walking with Lori in the morning. And then it cuts to Lori walking home with her two friends, Annie and Linda. And every now and then you'll see Lori will see Michael. But obviously, no one else. Classic horror movie, fashion. Nobody else sees him. He's gone,
which is ridiculous. This is the hulking man with a mask. All right, and they're like, "Hey, sir, I think you're a little old for Halloween, right?" Granted, anyone would die if they said that to him.
But this whole time, they're walking home or whatever, and then they're talking about their plans for the night. So Annie and Lori are babysitters for kids who live across the street from one another in another neighborhood, and Linda's gonna come with her boyfriend to do stuff.
For sure. Whatever crazy kids do.
To hang out that night. So they're planning all that. Then you get Lori gets picked up by Annie. After she sees Michael a few more times.
And they smoke some damn reefer cigarettes.
And then he gets super paranoid.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Super paranoid. They're driving along. And it's like, "Oh, crap, it's my dad. It's my dad."
So that's when we found out her dad is the sheriff.
Yes.
And there's been a break-in at the hardware store. Somebody has stolen. It was like
knives, rope, and a mask.
There we go. Yes. And then shortly after, they drive off. Michael is following them. He stops because he sees the sheriff. And then
Loomis stops because
Michael was following.
Oh, really? And he stopped because I didn't think he stopped because of the sheriff. I thought he just stopped because he was just following them in general.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it could be both.
Yeah, fair.
But so Lori and Annie drive off to go to the babysitting job, and Loomis is walking to meet the sheriff. And it's so funny because you see Michael turn the corner.
Right
in the car that he stole from
right behind Loomis. I thought that was.
But Loomis does a smooth, and I'm not.
He's like, I can only see
it's
in
real
front of
porn peripheral.
He's like, if it's not right here, I can't see it. Michael goes right behind. I laughed. I thought that was pretty funny. I was like, "Yo, dude, he's right there.
Do you not sense it?
I'm like, come on, man, this is evil. Sense the evil."
But so he meets with the sheriff. The sheriff says, "Give me 10 minutes because he's dealing with the break-in." And then we go to where our final, settings is the houses of, I don't know Lindsay's last name.
Or Linda's?
Lindsay, the little girl.
Lindsay. Oh, that is Lindsay.
So they like Lori's at the Doyle house with Tommy.
Yep.
Lindsay, I don't know her last name. They don't say it in any. Even though she's in the new series.
Oh, really?
She makes it into Halloween Kills and all.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. Yeah. It's like, I guess her adult.
Her adult self.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know her last name, but that's what they are. So they're babysitting at two houses across the street.
Right across the street from one another. Quick time. Sorry, just reminds me. Why are children trick-or-treating at like 4:00 in the afternoon? I saw this. I'm like, it is super bright out there. The teenagers just got out of high school. So Annie and Lori are driving, and you just see all these kids trigger. I'm like,
I thought like they did trick or treat all evening. Like the sun was out, and then like later in the evening, they're still in the house. Hold up, Tommy and them didn't go.
Yeah, that was another thing too. Tommy and Lindsay didn't go trick. Or I guess maybe they went at 4:00 in the afternoon.
I don't know. Well, he's probably bummed about the pumpkin. He probably didn't go.
Yeah, I don't know. And also parents, because all right, when I was growing up, as a little kid, my parents took me trick-or-treating at night. I remember it was like the sun went down. We might start at like 6, which was still 2 hours, 3 hours after high school let out. And then we'd start
we got these innocent middle school children
just running around.
Future degenerate high school.
So I'm like, what in the world? But yeah. Just thought that was funny. But yes, they are now babysitting right across from each other. Here's Annie's house. This is Lori's house that they're babysitting at. Mm-hmm. And now we see Annie, who decides she's cooking food for Lindsay. And since she spilled some pasta water on herself, she obviously needs to strip down.
No, it was butter.
Oh, it was butter. That's true. It was butter. Yes. So she spilled a tablespoon of butter on her shirt. So when I spill butter on my shirt, I'm like, well, screw it. I just take off everything. Yeah, it's full. I'm going to put on the random shirt I find in the kitchen. I guess I belong to the father.
Which was weird because it was just like she had to go out back for the laundry.
Yeah. I mean, 70s, you had a laundry room that wasn't connected to the house.
I guess that's wealth.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I have no idea. I thought it was like, I guess that was just a common thing. I've never seen that. My washer and dryer has always been in my home, but in Haddonfield, Illinois, you have this shed in the back where there's laundry. So she spills a little bit of butter on herself, and so she strips down. You don't really see anything, which was honestly kind of a nice touch. And then she goes out and she starts doing laundry, but you can see Michael. Michael's now stalking her. Mm-hmm. Oh, and the reason why Michael's stalking her is because when the three friends, Linda, Lori, and Annie are walking, Annie makes a joke to Michael, who's driving very slow in this car.
Yeah, so he drives past as they're walking home from school, and she says something. Oh, I think she says
speed kills.
Yeah.
But like the man's driving very slow. He's not speeding at all.
Did he stop?
Yeah, he stopped. So then she's like, "Hey, buddy, speed kills," and then he just like slams on the brakes, and they're like, uh-oh. And then Lori is like, Annie, one day you're going to get us killed. Which was very funny.
Irony.
Exactly.
It was also like, so when which didn't make sense because somebody drove. Mm-hmm. Oh, maybe because Michael was following him on foot. That wasn't him in the car. Because remember, he's outside that bush. Yeah. And Annie kicks it and then nobody's there.
Yeah, that was Michael too, man. Michael's just everywhere all at once.
Is he supernatural?
Yeah, Michael is
his cardio game is just ridiculous.
Yeah, he's everywhere, always, all the time. That's Michael.
But yeah, so he's sorry. Back to the
so that's why he's talking Annie now
outside of the house she's babysitting in.
Yep.
The dog actually barks because pets are always trying to tell you. Yeah. Listen. The dog's barking because he senses the presence, the evil that Loomis couldn't sense.
And Annie's just like, dog, shut up. I don't care. Literally. Shut up, dog, go away. Yeah.
So like she goes out back to the laundry room. And this is what talking about, it might have been a low budget, but they found ways to add to build the suspense.
Oh yeah.
Because there's the music, she's by herself. We know that he exists. And that's the thing too. It was just like, as an audience, we're obviously more informed than the characters
always
in the movie. So we know that he's out there. Mm-hmm. We've seen what he can do. I guess we haven't seen him actually do anything outside of his sister, right?
No, yeah, we've seen him stab his sister. He did choke the dog or kill the dog that was barking at him. And then we've seen another body. So we've seen him dead bodies, but we haven't really seen him
do anything in action in 1970. Yeah. So she's out there. She's just washing her clothes or whatever, and the door closes. Mm-hmm. And we're like, oh shit, something's gonna happen.
Yep. Yeah.
And then there's nothing, right? And then the little girl Lindsay, is looking for her, and like she goes.
The phone rings because
the phone rings because her
Andy's
boyfriend
Paul calls the house because in '78, whenever you babysit, that's just where you bang your significant other at the time. You just boom. I'm babysitting a 6-year-old who's very so what I'm looking for, impressionable. So I'm going to invite my significant other, and we're just gonna while that child is watching TV, we're basically gonna bang right behind them. That's the '70s.
So Paul calls. So Lindsay gets up, goes to get Annie.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Look, Annie's trying to sneak out of the window in the shed."
Yeah.
Because I assume, once again, building this tension that she's
dead. Yeah, I was like, she's dead 5 minutes ago. I assumed. I was like, she's been dead.
So so she Lindsay unlocks the door, and lets because she was Annie is stuck climbing out the window, so she releases her. Goes back and Paul tells her that he's not grounded anymore. He can sneak out. So
she can go sneak out.
Yeah. So initially she's like, "Come over here. What are you doing?" And then as she's on the phone, she leaves the back door open.
Yep.
And you see Michael for a bit, but she doesn't see him.
Yeah. You always see Michael. It's actually really cool. You see Michael behind everyone all the time. Like people will be staring. Like if I'm staring here, Michael will be behind me, just staring.
Right where that pumpkin is.
Yeah, right where the pumpkin. That's Michael just staring at stuff. You see him a lot doing that, and I thought that was a really cool touch. Yeah.
So she decides. If he can't come to me, we're gonna go pick him up. But Lindsay doesn't want to go because she wants to watch TV. I mean, if my show's on, I ain't trying to leave.
Fair. Yeah, exactly.
So Annie takes Lindsay across the street to the Doyles with Lori, and she's like, "Watch her for a bit because I'm going to pick up Paul." Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Quick trope with Halloween. Lori is the goody two shoe Girl Scout. Both of her friends are promiscuous.
Can't find a date.
Yeah. Oh, she could find a date, but she's too embarrassed to say anything. She forgot her chemistry book at school, so she was very upset and almost went back for it. And all of her friends were like, "Who cares? Smoke reefer. I don't care." And then she's like, no, I need my chemistry book. That's Lori. So when Annie takes Lindsay over so that way she can go and grab Paul, Lori's like, "Yeah, absolutely. I'll watch both." So now she's watching both children.
Yes.
After Annie does that, she starts walking back to the house, realizes she forgot her keys, because the door was locked and the car door was locked. She forgot the keys. So then she goes and grabs the keys. And this is also one of those small things. Yeah. She goes in. She doesn't even unlock the car door. She jiggled the handle. It didn't open. And then she goes back after grabbing the keys and the car's just magically open. Yeah. I'm like, you didn't open the car though. One would think. But hey, she opens the door and she sits down and then the interior windshield is foggy from someone going, which this is the only thing we hear from Michael the entire movie. Sorry, that's why I keep doing it. But
he doesn't speak at all.
Not at all. But she's like, "What in the world?" And she wipes the windshield. And then, boom, Michael out of nowhere starts choking from behind. That was a pretty good scare.
Yeah.
I mean, especially for 1978.
Knew it was coming. But it was just like, I like talking about building attention. It was just like, I assumed from the moment she got butter on her shirt, she gone.
Yeah, I thought she
when she went to the shed,
okay,
she came, and then all right, she takes the kid over. She comes back into the house. Can't find the key. So just like it was building that tension because you know something was going to happen. You just didn't know when, and then it finally happened. It was like, okay, nice. And it wasn't like I said. I don't like scary movies.
It was murder's nice.
No,
I'm Michael Cunningham.
Gonna get some targeted ads.
Hey, do you need help with your murder?
Like Clippy.
Exactly.
I hear you're planning a murder.
What can I do to help? Have you thought about caps lock?
In my mind, this is his first kill in '78. Obviously, we see that he killed the mechanic, he killed the dog.
Yeah.
But this is the first one you see on screen.
Yep.
It looked like he just hugged the dog to death, which happens.
Yeah, exactly. But so with it, she's like choking her, and it is like one of those it's just a lot of choking. She's clearly breathing. She's hammering on the horn, and then he takes up the knife and he just. It makes that noise. Like literally, it's like, and you don't really see much again. '78, which is also kind of refreshing with horror movies we have now. Not to sound too soft on camera, but I'm like, all right, that's a little gratuitous. Granted, I guess it's more realistic.
They're dead. We get it.
We get it. But yeah, so it's and then. So he now carries her around for the garage, and then Tommy Doyle sees it, sees him carry her. And he's like, the boogeyman, the boogeyman.
So, just to backtrack. So he was looking out the window when Lori was on the phone with Annie.
Yes.
Earlier, and he sees Michael standing outside
before
the house.
He killed Annie. Yeah,
and he tried to show Lori, and Lori didn't see it.
Yes.
And then after he's killed Annie, he's carrying her around to the front of the house, which bold.
Yeah, exactly.
The back door is open.
Dude, seriously. Yeah, there's like, this man is not sneaky. All right, he's not sneaky, guys. Like, he is, but he isn't, because he's just carrying people in broad daylight. He stands in the middle of the road staring. Like, 4 people could walk by, and he's just staring at his target, and they're like, "Oh, he's fine."
Yeah. So Tommy sees him carry Annie into the house.
Yep.
And then he tries to get, like, he freaks out, and Laurie's like, "I didn't see anything. It's whatever."
Yeah.
So then, hold on, what do I have? Oh, Loomis. Oh, we forgot about
Who's
Loomis.
doing nothing.
Really, his storyline is great. So it's Loomis, after he's met with the sheriff, he goes to the Myers house.
The Myers house.
And they go in and they see that there's signs that somebody has been there recently. So he decides, he was like, he looked out the window and all these different things.
Oh, there's a dog there that's still warm that I kind of thought it was funny. Oh, and he was like, Michael must have been hungry, because apparently he killed and ate the dog. You know, that's just what Michael Myers does. He doesn't like dogs.
So Loomis decides that he's going to stay staked out at the Myers house
because he assumes Michael Myers is going to come back.
And that's what, there was a funny scene where, like, so obviously since it's Michael Myers' house, it's Haddonfield, people know the story. So the 3 kids that were bullying Tommy earlier go to kind of like ding dong dish the house. Loomis is like, "Get out!
Get out!" And he's like, "Hey!"
And so the kids just like freak out and run away.
They hear the name. He's like, "Hey, you kid, get the hell out of there!" And all the kids like run away.
Yeah. So that's where Loomis is. He's staking out at the Myers house.
Yeah. Which, though, for the record, I don't know what this man's going to do, because, like,
at all,
right? Like, he's sitting there and he's
he does have the blicky face.
Yeah, we'll get that later. But literally, the sheriff sneaks up on him and just like taps him on the shoulder. He's like, "Oh!"
That was karma.
Yeah. Michael would have seen him and just completely killed him immediately. So, like, I don't know really what Loomis was doing, but hey, he was there, and that's why Loomis wasn't helping out during all this. So, but getting back on track, Annie is dead.
Yep. Michael's carried her into the house. We have Laurie with the 2 children. Enter Linda and Bob.
Yes, Linda and Bob, who are also, their plan was going, because again, 70s, was like, all right, Annie's going to distract the small child, and we're going to run upstairs and bang in the master bedroom while the folks that own this are gone. Like,
there you go. As one does.
Yeah, as one does, apparently. Okay. But yeah, so they are now in there. Michael Myers is still there as well. He has hidden Annie somewhere. We don't know where Annie's body is. Neither do Linda or Bob.
Yeah, they just see an empty house. Linda calls Laurie, and Laurie says, "Oh, she dropped the kid off here to go get Paul."
Yeah.
So all Linda hears is, "We got the house to ourselves.
Exactly.
We don't have to worry about the little kid."
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, lights are off."
So, and a note here is like, so they start making out in the living room, and you see Michael Myers watching. And it's the same POV from the beginning of the film where his sister, where he's like watching her fool around with her boyfriend. So, like, as soon as they find out that the little girl isn't there, they rush upstairs.
Yes.
And when I say rush, it is a smooth rush session.
Yeah. I mean, hey, okay. I thought it was too, because there's like, you don't really see anything. You see a sheet, you see them like, laying on top of each other, and he's like, "Oh, the phone keeps ringing. I can't concentrate." And she's like, "Oh," and he like rolls off, and then the phone stops ringing. So he rolls on top. 15 seconds later, he's like, "Well, that was great." She's like, "That was fantastic."
That was fantastic.
And I'm like, "Yo,
that's it. That guy's an Thomas."
He's like, "You're damn right it is." And he's like, "Now go fetch me a beer." And she's like, "Go fetch me a beer." And I'm like, again, 70s, different times, man. So Bob goes downstairs looking for the beer, and then he finds Michael.
Yes,
who has a gravity-defying knife. It's very, it's a pretty
very dope shot.
Yeah, it's a very dope shot. Very cool. Mike grabs him, lifts him up like chokehold style.
On the wall.
Yeah, and you see like his feet planting there, and he just stab right in there, right in like the gut, which for the record, not an instant kill. All right, this kid would be screaming and yelling. Linda should know about this, but again, Michael Myers.
But once again, after he stabs him, he kind of steps back, and it's a really cool scene. And also talking about building more tension.
Yes.
Once again, as the audience, you know that Michael's in the house.
Exactly. You knew before when he was down there looking for the beer. You know he's in the house. You're waiting for it.
So, like, he goes to the kitchen. He sees the back door open. Once again, I don't know why people don't be liking the door.
Yeah, seriously.
So he sees the back door open, so he assumes that Annie and Paul are back playing tricks. And so, like, he opened one cabinet, not there, so he goes to open another one, and he finds Michael, gets murdered, gets hung on a door somehow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the camera zooms out, and you just see, which was a really cool part. So you see him just dead, like with a knife sticking out of his gut in a cabinet. And then Michael's just staring at him, completely silent, but like looking at him. And you can see like he's thinking, right? And you're like, okay, this man is thinking. And then honestly comes like the funniest scene in the entire movie, in my opinion. So Michael's like, after staring at him for a little bit, like, you can see the cogs turning. We go back upstairs to Linda, who's lying in bed still. And you see what she thinks is Bob in a sheet with the glasses still right in front. Clearly it's Michael Myers, but he realized he needed the glasses for this disguise to work. So you see this big dude in a sheet with glasses over the eye holes. I saw that. I laughed. I did. I was like, that's hysterical to me. Like, what? But yeah, either way. So she's like trying to talk to him. Obviously,
not getting no response. So she gets annoyed and goes to call Lori
to check on where Annie and Paul are. And
then as soon as as soon as Lori picks up, Michael walks up and attacks her, and he starts choking her with the phone cord.
Yep, with the phone cord.
And Lori just assumes that, I don't know why, but she assumes her friends called her to listen to them have sex.
I think that's what it was. I mean, she did kind of like start like, and I'm like, that's not what it sounds like when you're getting murdered.
So like the struggling is basically sounding like intercourse. So she's like, Lori's like, you guys,
always having sex and rubbing it in my face. All right, bye now, and then hangs up.
Yeah. So then now we have the third. Like the third of Lori's friends that are dead.
Yeah.
And then I think what happens, those two are dead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Another good touch. While Linda is dying, Lori's like, I'm going to kill you if this is a joke.
There's a lot of
little just funny lines like that in this movie, man, where it's just like, all right, that's pretty funny. Like, that made me laugh too.
So I think what happened, so like she puts the kids to bed, and now she wants to go check on Annie and her friends.
Yes.
So she crosses the street, goes to Lindsay's house, and she's walking through. All the lights are out.
Yeah.
She goes, I think, to a little girl's room.
Yeah, like upstairs bedroom. Yeah. One of the bedrooms upstairs.
One of them, and this is where we see. So like she walks in, she sees Annie on the bed.
Yep.
Dead, presumably.
Like crucifix style, out, arms to her
and
side.
then that's where you see the tombstone from Michael's sister.
Which was a good callback.
Yes.
Yeah. I forgot.
But that's what I said. That's what I didn't know what that was when
he
pulled it up. Like when you saw that hole at the grave.
Yeah.
So you see her tombstone on the bed, and it says Judith Myers. And then slowly but surely she finds Paul doing pull-ups or something in the
exactly. She opens the door. He like swings down. Or Bob
hanging upside down in the in the
hardcore sit-up style. Yeah,
and then
opens another door,
opens another cabinet, and there goes Linda.
And Linda's just kind of like all crumpled.
She's freaking out, and then like I think she goes to the corner, and this is the iconic scene.
Yeah,
where Michael's in a closet, and the closet's very dark.
Yes,
and then you see Lori there on the right.
Yeah.
And Michael like leans forward, and you see the mask.
Yeah, just pop up out of the darkness.
And then I guess for the first time in the film, he misses.
Yeah, dude. What?
So he goes to stab her and like respectfully just rips her shirt.
Yeah, it barely even cuts her. Just like right there, and just like rips the shirt. And I'm like, really? That's some plot armor. That is plot armor.
But it was like that's a very iconic scene. Yeah. Wait, once again, so the scene with Bob on the wall is great. The scene when he comes back in the ghost costume.
Yeah.
And then the most iconic one is him behind, because that's the thing, like you said, every one of his victims, or it's just everybody in the film, he's like, there's that stalkeriness of it, right?
Absolutely.
It's not like real supernatural. I mean, the supernaturalness is his cardio, but
cardio and teleportation. Yeah, it's supernatural.
But so he attempts to stab her, he misses, and then like she runs.
She falls over. She falls down the staircase.
Yes,
she falls over and breaks her leg. But obviously,
did it?
I mean, it didn't really break. But it was when she's like, my leg, and then she gets up and runs, and I'm like, yep, sure, it's cool.
Was that for Michael?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah,
you've hurt me. We're done. Time out.
Quick, I'm good. And she just gets up and runs. I'm like, okay, but either way, falls, hurts her leg. I appreciated this. She runs out one way, and then there's a rake blocking the door. So it's still this traditional like horror movie, like, oh, why can't this door work? I don't understand how a door works all of a sudden. At least here there was a rake propping it shut. So you're like, okay, you can clearly see that it's a glass door. So you can see it. Michael then comes in the kitchen.
Yes.
And then she breaks the glass. And that's how she goes out.
Oh, yeah. She was not playing. She got out of the house quick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and she runs back to the Doyles.
Yep, right? And wakes up Tommy.
Tells him to, I guess, wakes
up Tommy just to let her ass in. Door is locked.
Yes, that's what it was.
She
the
lost
door was
the keys
locked,
or left the keys.
And Tommy
he's just like,
I was like, do you not hear me screaming? Where the hell is your urgency?
Yeah.
So she lets Tommy in, and I think she locks him upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And then Michael, so she locks the door because she assumes he's going to come in that way. And she kind of hides behind the couch. And that's when he comes through the window over the couch.
Yeah.
I think he he misses again.
He misses again because the man can't hit Lori. Yeah.
And then she takes a sewing needle, gets him in the neck.
Right in the neck, yeah.
And then so he lays down. Yep. She takes the knife, looks at it, throws it away.
She's like, I don't need this.
Mistake number 8.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows how many. This was, I will say, right here, it took me out of it a little bit, which is why I want to mention it. This sound was really weird here. At least on that, I was watching it online, so maybe it was better in theaters or on DVD. I don't know. But for me, it was all of a sudden, it was so silent. All you could really hear was her like them both breathing when she stabs Michael in the neck. But there isn't really a lot of other sound otherwise. And I'm like, why is this all I'm hearing right now?
Maybe that was
a struggle.
A choice. Yeah. I got to go back and watch because I watched it on the TV, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I had my headphones on. They're soundproof headphones. They're pretty solid headphones, I think. But either way, I was like, is this all I'm hearing right now? But stabs him in the neck, and then, key lesson with a horror movie that I've always learned, double tap. Yeah, double tap all day. But no, we don't want to do that. So yeah, stabs him in the neck, throws the knife aside, and then runs upstairs because clearly this man is not going to be able to get up when you stab him with a little needle like that big in diameter.
So yeah, she chases him. He chases her upstairs. Oh, because she goes to the kids again.
Yep, goes to
the
kids.
She's like, "You guys need to run. Go get help." And she's like, "The boogeyman's not going to get you." And here he comes creeping up the steps.
Yeah.
And then the kids see him behind her.
Mm-hmm.
They run out of the house. And this is also to jump back to Loomis, who did nothing.
Yeah.
Until the end. But so he recognizes the car across the street from the Myers house.
Remember, so before the kids ran out to call for help, that did happen. It was she grabs them. She has them run inside a closet to get in one closet. She's in the other closet. And that's where you get the other scene of Michael breaking in the closet. Mm-hmm. You get Michael breaking in the closet. You get her with very quick thinking, unraveling a thin wire hanger and stabbing Michael in the eye with it, which, cool, I'll take it. He drops the knife. She grabs the knife and then lunges forward and stabs him. Then, from there, that's when she runs out, tells the kid.
And once again, so first, she steps out of the closet, sees him on the ground.
Yes.
Throws the knife again.
Yeah, really just
real near the body.
Exactly. She's like, you know what, I'm just going to drop her.
She's like, I don't want my fingerprints on this.
Yeah, no thank you.
So, okay, it's my bad. And then she tells the kids to run and go get help. And when they go outside, and like I said, jump back to Loomis, he's, staking out the Myers house. He recognizes the car that Michael stole. Yeah. And the sheriff comes back. So he's like, I think he said he recognized it like 3 blocks away or something.
Yeah, so that's why he's now up and down this street outside the house instead of the Myers house.
Sees the kids running out of the Doyle house, so he runs there immediately. Yeah. And that's when, Michael rises like the Undertaker.
Dude, which is just such a great, he's like laying there, and that's where you get the Michael Myers, the sit up, just complete, that's some core strength for the record. The man, he does crunches because he
was taking driving online and nothing but cardio
and sit up
and his core.
Yeah, exactly. You could anyway, so he sits up like that, and then just super iconic. I think they do it in a lot of other movies too. Is the Michael Myers sit up, and then grabs Lori from behind. She struggles a little bit. She pulls up his mask a bit, and Michael's like, "Oh, my mask, no!" and then puts it down. So Loomis can finally step in.
Yes, and shoots Michael directly in the head. I assume.
I don't really know.
I thought it was at least in the head, and then maybe a few more times.
Definitely there was 4 or 5 shots. Just bang, 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 bang.
Then Michael falls out of the window. Yep. And Loomis, goes on. She says something about the boogeyman.
Was that the boogeyman?
And Loomis says, yes, it was. Yeah. Oh, it was also something earlier. I think it was back when they were in, Loomis was in the Myers house. He goes, he had the blackest eyes I'd ever seen.
Yes. Talk about the child. He was talking about evil, young 6-year-old Michael.
Yeah. He said the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing, especially they tried to bring that back in the newer iteration of it. But yeah, so we have Michael Myers is shot out of the window. He's dead, presumably. Yep. He talks to Laura to kind of calm her down, and then he goes to look out that window, body gone. Yep. And then at first it was interesting. That's what because kind of leaving it up for a sequel or whatever, or just a who knows. Yeah. So it gives you a screenshot of the stairway. Yeah. Because I assume they expected him to start coming back. Be relentless with it, and I'm gonna finish what I started. Yeah. but you never see that shadow up the stairs. You just see the body gone.
Yep.
And then the movie
credits. There you go. From there. Solid.
Yeah, really good.
In the future, we'll have another quick ad break. I don't need to do that bit twice. So we're just going to keep going forward from here. I guess so final overall thoughts of the movie. I guess if you want to change your ranking after like going through, or just anything concluding you'd like to mention or think people should know about Halloween.
No, I think it was like a really solid movie. It was nice. Like, I mean, obviously this was 30 years before the MCU or something like that. Where we were just like having a movie that existed on its own. It wasn't worried about the next iteration or anything like that. Just making a solid movie as a silo.
Yep.
And then seeing how it goes from there.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it could have been like it was very sequel baity, but it was just like it stands on its own.
Yeah.
I think, Michael Myers was like there was a reality to it, right? Because he was just stalking. It wasn't like he was like there was nothing really supernatural about him, besides the fact that he just
can get shot, stabbed, whatever. Yeah, exactly. Man is just invincible. Other than that,
but it was just it was very much like it was just some creepy guy in the neighborhood. Somehow goes without being seen in broad daylight.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a solid movie, really good.
Yeah, for sure. Completely echo that. I do think if you have any interest in seeing the origins of horror that are going on right now in movies, or if you have any desire to even try to emulate something like this, it's worth seeing. This is absolutely something that you should see. And it's still entertaining. Like, honestly, I was entertained. Maybe it's slower than some modern movies right now, but as a whole, I think it can keep your attention, and I think it's a lot of fun the whole time.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So from here, before we sign out, Mike, any ats or anything, stuff you got going on that you want to share with the people?
No, just check out the pod. Obviously, we'll have more episodes coming up soon.
Yep. Twitter handle. What's our Twitter handle again?
Twitter handle is at.
I'm following it on mine, so I should know. I
think we were trying to avoid Twitter because of Elon Musk.
Yeah, well,
how that's gonna
go. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. While Mike is looking that up, if you would like to contact me in any way, all my stuff is edhunt77. That's Instagram and Twitter. I'm trying to tweet more. I am, so we'll see how that goes. But edhunt77. And yeah, also I have a comic I'm working on right now. I will give you more information. I'm looking for an artist. So if you hear this and you think you'd want to be an artist for me, that'd be phenomenal, because I have 2 issues done and the entire story fleshed out. I'm working on that now. And Twitter handle?
Twitter handle is 2 Meddling Kids.
2 Meddling Kids.
The number 2 Meddling Kids. And then Instagram, we're at 2 Meddling Kids _pod. If you want to, check us out.
Sure.
Send any movie suggestions to the email at 2medlingkidspod at gmail. My Instagram handle, because don't talk to me on Twitter. I'm joking. My Instagram handle is Days from Legendary.
Cool.
Check me out. But yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. And then, so our plan is we should be trying to have one of these every Monday. So again, happy Halloween, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to our first ever pod, and see you soon.
Bye.